Welcome to another inspirational episode of the Pincast, where you learn to listen and listen to learn. My name is Ryan Quinn, the founder of Ryan Quinn Fitness, Training and Mindset Coaching. With each episode, we will bring on inspirational people who are striving to make a change in themselves, and then inspire you to do the same. And as the old saying goes, keep living, keep strong, and keep her LS. Aboo. You guys, welcome back to the Pincast, and we have a brand new guest on here, and it is one of my elite clients, Aodhan Gallen. Welcome to the Pincast, Aiden.
Pleasure, Ryan. Thanks for having me.
Great to have you on. So look, Aiden, we spoke briefly before this here. You know yourself, there's been no messages back and forward. You need to say this, you need to do this. This is your podcast, right? You spent over 6 months with me. And it's not about my program here, it's about you. Obviously, we want to pass forward your achievements and what you've achieved in 6 months. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy coming from where you're at to where you are now. So I'm going to, briefly, all I want you to do is introduce yourself, right? Where you're from, what your hobbies were before things start to go fucking downwards, and we will take it from there. We'll go ahead forward from there. So look, just introduce yourself there. You can introduce yourself to the camera or the way you want to do it.
Yeah, name's Aodhan Gallen. I'm 26. I'm from Strabane, County Tyrone, but I would still classify myself as a Donegal man. It's a bit of a touchy subject. Yeah, it's literally been a roller coaster, like. Ups and downs, ins and outs. I've been lucky enough to travel a lot, an awful lot. Like, I'm only 26. I've been in Canada working. I've been in Australia working. I've been everywhere. Yeah, that's basically.
Right. So, what was your school? What was your upbringing like as a kid? You know, let's bring us back to your like. I always talk about my first memory. Was whenever I was a kid. It was obviously. There's a lot of troubles when I was growing up. I can remember a lot of that. So it was like I can remember from I was about 5-6 years of age. Like, what's your earliest memories?
Yeah, earliest memories would be probably growing up around Lifford. Huge Derry City football fan at the time. Me and my father were travelling everywhere. Even European games. We were in Bulgaria, we were in Paris, we were in Scotland. They were my very early memories. And
what age were you then?
I could have been from 6 years old up.
Good.
They're my very earliest memories, and then probably horses. Them was a big thing. Horse racing was a massive thing. We're not from we're from the town. Like, we're not from country backgrounds or anything. So
yeah,
we live very close to bookies and Main Street in Lifford, and I suppose that kind of just brought it on to the equation. We're always interested in horses. My father was a local taxi man, so he's always collecting bets and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
By no means we were big, gamblers or that sort of things. We just had a genuine love and interest in horses and horse racing. Like.
Yeah. So the horse racing end of it, were you a jockey?
Yeah. I was
so
riding for
people will be listening and thinking you were in the bookies. You got into being a jockey. What age were you when you started that?
I was about, as I say, like looking at the horse racing and the bookies. I always kind of just thought I could do it, and then my dad, he always kind of pushed me towards it, and then my mother too, obviously. She's a bit more reluctant seeing the injuries and stuff that they get, but I was around 14 or 15 then when I first went to riding school, out in Ashley, and yeah, just fell in love with it. But I knew I wanted more. I kind of wanted the racing side of things, so I left school when I was 16, first opportunity I got, and went to racing college in Kildare. Right. And how long did that last? That was a year. You stayed down there Monday to Friday. I remember it was such a small little room. There was around 40 of us. You stayed there, you ate there, you trained there, you done absolutely everything there. Like, so it was. It was just a real kind of grounding. So it was just to get you in that routine and realise how tough it is. Like.
So Aiden, we're talking about the horse racing end of it. We'll touch on that again. We'll go back to that again. We'll go back into the past again. I know we talk about we don't like going to the past. But school-wise, what were you like at school?
Oh, here, like, it's by no means a bad egg. Like, I was always good in school. Mum works in schools too, around the town. She works in a local school there still at the minute to this day. So I suppose that was a bit of a fear factor to me. Like, I knew I wasn't going to get away with much because I was always going back to mum, and there was always a close side to me. But no, I would like to always think that I was always kind of respectable, and as much as I didn't like school, like, it just wasn't for me. I give it a crack. Like,
what about education? Did you get educated? Or?
Yeah, I done all my GCSEs. Was for going on to do my A levels, but as I say, just once I got that offer to go to racing school in Kildare, it's very hard to get into. Like, once I got that, like, it was just an offer I couldn't refuse, and a dream, obviously.
So, like, why I asked about the education, so you were a smart boy at school. So if you had put your head to it, you could have went places. You could have went to college. You could have done all that. So, like, you know, we're going to get to the nitty-gritty end of how life started to turn upside down for you. But there's a lot of people out there think, oh, I'm stupid. I have no education. This is why I'm deep in addiction, or this is why I'm depressed or anxious. So you had no issues with education.
No.
So you didn't have an education problem.
No, definitely
It ended up an application problem.
Yeah.
How you were applying yourself. So, mum, big supporter.
Yeah,
because
massive,
I've seen her online, and just she's contacted me myself as well, and just how great you're doing. So, you know, you've been through a bit of trauma. I wouldn't say a bit, but a lot of trauma as a kid growing up. If you want to share that with people out there, because it's going to be touchy for you, it's going to be touchy it's a touchy subject for me because it hit my family. But the thing about it is you're nearly 10 years on, and finally your life has changed.
Yeah.
You know, where you thought your life was over. So if you want to share with the viewers what that traumatic part of your life was, where it took you to, and where now you've ended up.
Yeah, so it was back in 2016. I graduated from the racing college in Kildare and went straight to Canada. So was riding horses then in Canada. Came home, got into a massive yard down south, and this was it. Like, the dream was alive. Like, this was it. I was ahead. Like, I was really flying.
As a jockey.
Yeah, well, I wasn't race riding or anything, but everything was going that way.
Yeah.
And then I suppose just within the flick of a switch, like, everything just got turned upside down. I was about 2 weeks in the yard, and I came back. I still remember to this day. I came back to my accommodation that I was staying in, and I got a Snapchat on my phone from someone. I'm so sorry to hear about your daddy.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of I was speaking to him maybe 3 years previous, like, so kind of didn't really understand. And then just that kind of conscience just kind of hit me, and I knew there something wasn't right. And I rang mummy, and mummy told me, you have to get down this road. And I'll never forget that feeling. Like, I don't know if it was just everything just sunk, just my body just drained. And then my housemates, they were a bit older, so mum got in contact with them, and I think it was kind of, because I only started driving, so it was, could you drive them kind of down the road a bit?
What age you, remember, 17 were you?
Yeah, I was 16.
16,
17. No, 17, yeah.
Yeah, that's really
17, so, and, like, as I say, me and dad, like, such a great relationship, like, it's never anything.
So, you know, what happened to your father?
Father committed suicide.
Yeah. So, listen to that. I've been there. I know how you felt. Mightn't been my father, it was my uncle. My mother was down visiting me in McGilligan prison. It was my last visit. Then I was getting out on town visits, 6-hour visits, and that you're on a high.
Yeah.
And like, you were on a high as well. Like, this is why, I think this is why we've connected. We've never really had this big conversation like this. We know, we've spoke about it. But hearing that brings back 2007 to me. Leaving that visit, going back to my cell, so happy. Mummy said to me that day, Mummy hardly ever came to see me. She says, this is the last time I'll ever have to come down here, son. And I get in so happy, went and always phoned home then about an hour and a half after the visit was over, and my younger brother answered the phone, and he was like maybe 11 or 12 years of age, and he says to me, Colum's dead. And I says, what do you mean? He says, oh, he killed himself. And you're powerless. And I was completely powerless because I was locked up in prison. And me and this man was very, very close, worked together, always looked up to him. You know, you just that uncle that you always, you can say, like, all your uncles kind of, if you're close to them, they're like father figures to you. Anybody, like, becomes a father figure. Like, you're going to become a father figure to people here today on this here that are on the early stages of going through what you through, or in the middle of what they're going through, or at the very tail end of whenever you click the switch. So like and that you never see no signs of this coming.
No, Daddy did have his problems, like there was a few underlying issues, but like everyone knew him, like he was started to show like around Lifford, like he was always happy, he was always. Yeah, like he was very, very well known. The
other thing you said there at the very start of your father was a taxi man. That's what my father was.
Yeah, so he was the only one in Lifford. Lifford's obviously small, so there's no one there. So everyone knew him. Everyone knew Niall. Like everyone knew Niall Gallen.
What age is your father when he passed?
He was 55.
A young man, 55. Well, I don't want to keep dwelling on that on you, and I want to show the like as hard, it's tough enough talking about that. I don't think you could have talked about that 6 months ago without breaking down.
No.
And you like, this is the difference in you now.
Yeah.
I could feel that in there, and I could feel that, we always talk about we don't cry anymore.
Yeah, well,
we try our best.
I do like an odd cry every now and then, I call that.
But I think you have that opinion now, like I have. If I died at your feet now, you'd just stand in the back of my head and keep going. Because I would do the same with you.
Yeah.
So I think that's I can see that. There's not an arrogance in you. There's a wee cheeky thing in you, but the man has come out.
Yeah, like as you say, like it's nearly. I dwelled on it there for about 8 years, but I suppose I kind of had to realise like the word's ruthless, like the waits for nobody. Like it's like, and I even say it to people there now. Like it's 3 days. Like you're dead, and 3 days later you're buried. And that's it. Show goes on. Like.
So, after your father's passing, where did life go?
I suppose I was just lost.
Yeah.
The dreams of kind of riding horses just kind of fell through. I think it was maybe a few months later I went back. A few weeks later actually I went back. Then I had a fall and wrecked my ankle or something. That just put me back in square one, and I was just a lost boy then. My uncle has a factory, so I went working in a well, I meant to be working anyway. I showed up there, and I was just a lost boy, like. And then I suppose then that's when I started drinking and I started doing these things, because I wasn't really a drinker or anything, and I suppose that was my escape then. Like.
What age was this when you think you
around 18 years old? Yeah, I was around 18.
But then. Back then, and even a year ago, you still thought that was normal.
I thought that was normal too, yeah.
And I've been there.
Yeah.
Because there's been trauma in your life, and my trauma, I thought the way I was behaving was normal.
Yeah, and I suppose it was a way of trying to fit in as well. Like I thought, because as you say, like you never see these lads or girls like during the week.
Yeah.
So the weekend was my way of communicating, and like, don't get me wrong, I have nothing against alcohol or anybody that drinks alcohol. Like I had a problem with alcohol.
Yeah. So your problem's not other people's problems.
No, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, and we maybe at the start, I know, like when you started out to me, we thought everybody should get sober.
Yeah.
And everybody should.
And I was arrogant too that way. I kind of, but like I kind of realized it's me. Like,
but that's part of your recovery.
Yeah. Like,
we all 99% of us when we go sober, we all think that everybody else should go sober.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I still think they should. Yeah. But I'm not going to look at some down and somebody say, "Oh, you drink." There's people can get out. I say this as well. We need people to drink. We need losers.
Yeah.
Right? We need losers out there. We need people to drink and fuck up their lives so that we can become winners. And that means that we help those type of people.
Yeah.
Right? We don't look down on them. We don't think they're... But we can't take... I've tried it, and I'd say you've tried it. We've tried to steal other people's lessons.
Yeah.
They have to learn their lessons. We had to learn ours, and we learned them the hard way.
Yeah, I definitely went the hard way about it. Yeah.
You know, so like, it's good to see the change in you now after, you know, over 6, 7, 8 months sober. How many months are you sober now?
Yeah, it'd be close to 8 months.
8 months.
Yeah.
And like, I never hear you counting it. I never hear you... A lot of people... I was talking to someone... A new person joined the elite group and said to me, I'm 52 days, I haven't drank, I haven't taken drugs. But I says, please don't tell me. I says, because it's only... Tomorrow it'll be 53, and you'll turn around and say, well, I haven't drank or took drugs for 53 days. You're basically counting you do it again.
Yeah.
That's basically what you're doing. I learned that there the hard way. I counted 7 months, and after 7 months I wanted to drink again. And I did.
Yeah, it was definitely... Yeah, you're 100% right. Like, I noticed that at the start, like, when I was counting weeks, but now, as you say, I don't... Might be a milestone there. No, I might count a 6 months or something. 6 months if I put it up in the story or something like that, but no, I wouldn't be counting days. Like, I wouldn't... Now, don't get me wrong. Does that come into my head? I want to drink again. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But I say it's only a snippet. It'll come and it'll go again because I know
Come into my head last night. I seen a mate of mine's opening a new bar in Markerfeld, just at the back of Secrets there, and he put up the boys in the builder's yard, you know, making cocktails. And I just said to myself, "Jeez, I'd love to go in there and have a drink and see what that new place is like."
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden I become conscious. And I knew if I went in there, I'd be in there for 3 or 4 days or out and about. But then my conscience told me, but you're going to miss that clean feeling, get up in the morning. You're going to miss taking that video of you training. You're going to miss, like, you know, saving somebody's life.
Yeah.
You know, and it's very hard for me to find a balance in what I just said there, saving somebody's life, whenever I took somebody's life. You know, and I can openly now talk about this. I used to be afraid to talk about it, and if I did talk about it, I talked in the wrong way. But it's very hard for me to find a balance of the amount of lives that I've saved and then the one I took.
Yeah.
You know, and that just haunts me all the time. Some people think I don't care. Some people think I do this here. I use it as something to catapult my business forward and stuff like that. I don't need to use that. But I have to, for my own sanity and other people around me, I have to realize, you know, that I'm saving lives, and this is what you're doing right now. Like, the amount of people, like the very first night that you posted on social media out walking, like, you can share with the viewers and then go to your page and see what was the impact of that on others, and what was the impact of that on you?
Yeah, I think I don't know what happened that night. Like, as you say, we were on our annual
Zoom call,
and
weekly Zoom
I just
call.
left, and obviously you never told me to do it. No one told me to do it, and I just took a notion. I was out walking the dog, and I just done it, and I think it was up near 100,000 views there, and yeah, the feedback off it, like, I know how many people will tell me, even to this day, like, that phone never stops, like, you saved my life, and thank you, like, and it's, you don't know what they say, like, you're kind of just shocked by it, like, because to me it felt like only a video, like, but you don't realise what kind of impact these are having on people. And I have slowed up on my Friday night lights, like, and people are texting me and saying, no, kind of miss it and things like that. So you do realise how much of an impact social media does have on people.
Yeah.
I know it can be an awful thing too, like, but it can also be a huge tool to use to your advantage.
You said there's an awful thing. Like, you've got some people as well that have tried to push your buttons at the very start.
Even still to this day, like, people, but
how do you deal with that?
It doesn't bother me anyway. At the start now, I'm sure I was first on the phone. Ryan, what am I going to do here? Like, I was nearly like a big baby, but now I just let it go, like, because I know these people come and go, and I think it was you. Yeah, you did say to me, nobody will say it to your face.
Yeah.
And that's 100% true. Like even in work or whatever, like, you still get a bit of slagging and stuff like that. No, you might be around a table, or it might be a group of lads, or you might get it in a group chat or something. But for a man to come up, or a woman to come up to you and say it to your face, what you're doing is wrong. Yeah. They're not going to do it because what you're doing isn't wrong.
They're whenever you see someone, and unless you're online and you are actually being a ball bag and you're saying things that are hurtful and stuff like that, most people, 99 99% of people, it's their insecurities
Yeah.
that they're looking at you. And we're going to have someone on the podcast that will if they haven't already been on, because we're just putting these out as and not in no particular order, but we'll have someone on telling their story, or we've had them on to say that was a hater towards what I do. They hated it, but they hated it because it was true.
I'm first to put my hands up. Like I think it was D. Put you up one day and I followed you, and I would say followed you, unfollowed you, blocked you maybe 6 or 7 times. Like before I said, this man's making sense. Like,
Yeah,
because it was hurting me. It was
but the guy didn't know you.
No,
so, like,
he didn't know me at all. Like I was just.
This is the thing, that this is a class what you're just saying here.
Yeah.
I didn't know you, but what I was saying
but
was
I didn't like you.
because it was true.
Yeah.
Because your insecurities, you were taking them out on me.
Yeah.
You know, but when I was talking from experience, because I did all the fucking things.
Yeah.
I did the drinking. I did the drugs. You know, I did the cheating, the lying. You know, I did all those things. You know, I done all the with the devil. Devil tells you it's great, so go and drink. As I said, and I say this all the time, the devil. If the devil showed up as the devil, would you hang around with him? No.
Yeah.
If your enemy showed up as your enemy, would you hang around them? No. But they're gonna show up and drink. They're going to show up in drugs. They're going to show up in shitty food. They're going to show up in all these vices that are gonna give you a short term high.
Yeah.
But you have to come back down again.
Yeah. Oh, like every day, like you'd have these little small I know insecurities. Even to this day, like I'm not saying now my life's perfect. Like, no.
But you need the imperfections to keep
yeah.
you. Like if everything was perfect, then you wouldn't. You wouldn't get tested.
Yeah, yeah. Like there is times there. Don't get me wrong. In the last few months, though, everything was going so well, and I did slack off. Like,
yeah.
But I suppose like I never turned to the drink. I never turned to anything else.
What would you say would have had you slacking off? Would it be? I think when you get to that 6-7 months of sober, you get bored.
It's dangerous, yeah.
You get bored. And like people mistake boredom, peace as boredom. So you go out to the mayhem. And obviously you had a group of people you're in, along with all us, that you seen was still striving and still going. It had to be that kept you from the drinking, from the partying and whatever else was going to come your way.
Yeah, and I suppose that's what I just do now. Like my day is completely filled, like from 6 a.m. in the morning to 9:30 at night. Like that's me. Like my average day, even my Monday mornings, like I'm on the road from 3:30 a.m. Like
yeah, I see that.
And I suppose that's my way of dealing with things now. Just completely ransack my day, and by the time I go to bed, I can't have any thoughts because. Yeah. No. See,
there's a saying if we're going to get sober and clean, we're going to have to get busy.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, so you have to stay busy.
Yeah.
So like one day we had breakfast, and I'll talk about this here now. I was kind of embarrassed, and we had breakfast, and we done photos and all of you, and we're up training and stuff like that, and we had breakfast and we talked away, and obviously I had a lot of stuff coming up with this new build and stuff like this, and it's great that I can sit down and do this here now. I've been helping a friend out over there the last few days with something, and it does distract me away from this here, but after this week, that's after the day, it's done. Like, but you said to me that day and leaving that day in the cafe, you said to me, like, I want to thank you. You saved my life, and I was took back. You seen that? I didn't know what to do, how to react.
Yeah, nearly made you cry. It's close.
I know, but I had to walk away and get into the car. But like for some young lad to turn around and say it to me, and like I never really set out to save anybody's lives. I just wanted to share all the shit that I went through.
Yeah.
But you showed me that day you showed me videos that day that shocked me.
Yeah.
Like people think, there's nothing wrong with Aodhan Gallen. I seen it.
Yeah.
Like it was crazy. Like where the place you were at with alcohol.
Yeah.
And it just reminded me of me. But when I was a quiet type of person. You were mad.
No, I was out there. Like,
yeah.
I suppose there's a lot of things even, that underlining that people never know, never will know. Like I've attempted suicide once.
Mm-hmm.
I've kept that hidden. Like, but like it happened. It's something I'm not proud of, but it was, once I was in that last period, it was about a year and a half after my father obviously died, and I left the house one night and I had no intention of coming back. And there was 3 fellas, they'll know who they are. They pulled me into the car. They went looking for me and got me. But I suppose, like, that is another massive thing. Like, you never know what is going on in someone else's life.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm doing now, though. I'm just trying, if I can help one person, like, that's one person more than I could ever dream of, like.
Yeah. And, like, committing suicide, I've been suicidal in my early 20s, right? I've been suicidal in my mid-20s. So the tragic thing that I did brought suicidal thoughts on.
Yeah.
Getting imprisoned brought suicidal thoughts on. Coming out of prison and then starting taking a lot of drink and a lot of drugs left me suicidal. And then towards the end of becoming sober, which is over 3 years ago, I was suicidal. But I have never, ever had them thoughts in the past 3 years. And you know what? I would not be sitting here, and you would not be sitting here today if we pulled that trigger.
Yeah.
Be it whatever way people want to. And I see so many people that are suicidal, and not them all, but 99% of them is due to devices, drink and drugs, trying to block, things out in the past.
Yeah.
So, like, something you said there you're not proud of, be proud, because you're sitting here today.
Yeah, I suppose, that's what, I was just, as I say, like, I was just lost. I was going to I started counselling then after, but I think I explained this to you, like, counselling for me, it just never really worked. Like, I was in a room with someone and I was just uncomfortable, and it just felt...
I have a friend becoming a counsellor now. She's a girl, actually, and she's sober. And I would go to her.
Yeah.
Because she's lived.
Yeah.
She's been rock bottom.
100%.
There's a lot of counsellors out there, and look, I don't want to offend everybody out there. They've never... I fell harder than them in school. They're educated, right? But they've never been through tough times.
Yeah, and that's 100%, I think, in my case too, and I couldn't relate to the person either, like, so, like, as I said, like, counsellors, they do a wonderful job, like, it's unreal what they can do, like, and places around Strabane now, we have the Quorum Centre and stuff, like, it's unreal, but, like, I suppose I see mine in other types of ways now, like our Zoom calls that we have, walking the dog, like, that's a massive one for me.
See you back out doing that?
Everyone sees that, like, but people don't see as kind of, that's my way of counselling, just me and the dog, and that's what works for me. Like, it could be even Gaelic training there, even going to something simple as going to work every day, like, that's my therapy, I suppose.
Gym,
like,
the eating,
going to the gym,
the sleep,
eating,
the praying,
and
all them habits. So I have them up there in that board up there, and I can guarantee if you read them there, like early wake up and check in above, do you still do that?
Yeah, 100%.
Do you read from positive books or positive things on social media?
That book that we have.
You count your macros. Yeah. You're getting a workout in. You're never off the beaten track. Like, I see that, and you've no vices.
No, and I suppose, like, you just say that now, and you look it up, and I'm kind of half laughing to myself because you told me that at the start when I first came on. Like, it was such a bad place, and you said just early wake up and cold shower. It's like, what the fuck's that going to do? And it's unreal how simple it is. Like, so that's what I do now. I'll have people say to me, you get these messages, oh lad, no, I can't do this anymore, I'm ready for the rope, and it's disheartening to me.
Yeah.
But I'll say back, no, you're doing yourself no favours, like, and like the other thing you said to me, if you are depressed, go get a 6-pack.
Yeah.
And, like, it worked for me years ago, wouldn't it? But now, like, just these small things.
But there's ways of getting a 6-pack and making yourself depressed, and then there's ways of getting a 6-pack and feeling great.
Yeah.
Like the confidence that you have. Now, I don't want any of your cheeky words because I have to take the blame for that. But the confidence that you got was unbelievable. You know, and like, you're not afraid to put yourself out there, and it's unbelievable. But we'll go back to how you gravitated to me. How did you come my way? How did that happen? Explain to the viewers on here how that happened. Obviously, I'm not trying to sell something on here, but I'd love to get more people on board in your position and help them out. So what gravitated you towards me? What is your first, like you just talked there now about the shares, your first initial thoughts whenever I was telling you these things online, where it got to in the middle and where you are now?
Yeah, so as I say, starting off, obviously on the phone, I've seen people's stories and stuff about GD and that, and thought this fella's a rod. As I say, I must have unblocked you, followed you, unfollowed you about 7 or 8 times, and I suppose it just started to hit home then. Obviously when you're lying hungover, like you're watching all these kind of videos and whatnot, and I just knew I needed change, and yeah, I don't know how to word it, but I just knew change had to happen because I didn't want what I was doing anymore.
Yeah.
Like definitely wanted to be a better version of myself, and it's only 6 months now, like, and I've nailed that, like.
Yeah.
And as I say, like, you told me things that are so simple, but obviously helped me so much, and like I wouldn't be here. I'm not obviously trying to sell this for you, like I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you, like, and I'm happy to tell anybody that.
So the initial startup call, how did you feel? You know, whenever you come on, like there's so many people want to do what you do. I'm not trying to sell something here, but there's so many people. Like the more experience I get in these podcasts and talking to people, like I wasn't asking D questions like this. I wasn't asking Harry questions like this, because there's so many people out there suffering. Like I had someone on that laptop yesterday, and I just says to them, "All I want you to hear now is out loud. My name is AB.
Yeah.
Only good things happen to me." And they said it. It was, my name's Aodhan Gallen, and only good things happen to me. And I go, what? Can't hear you. Say it louder. My name's Aodhan Gallen, and only good things. I said, louder. Said it louder. I said, how do you feel now?
Yeah.
And they actually busted out crying. They goes, I feel great.
Yeah.
I says, because I'm telling you now, if you're standing in Strabane town centre and you see some man talking to the wall, what are you going to say about them? And they goes, oh, I'm going to say they're not wise. Well, I says, you're not wise.
Yeah.
Because you're talking to yourself inside your head, and nobody even knows you're doing it, and nobody cares. And I says, until you start telling yourself that, you know, I heard the Vaughan saying it last night. I shared it in my story. If you can tell yourself enough times that you're great and you're good at something, then you're gonna pull that in from the outside world. But again, as I said to Ryan, my content creator here, I says, you know, these types of I'm putting out more small videos. These types of small videos get me people onboarded. Yep. And I says the only thing that will stop a person from doing the videos is caring about what people think that don't matter.
Yeah.
You know, you did matter, and if I had cared what you thought of me, I would have stopped. But I kept going until the penny dropped.
Yeah. Because
you weren't ready. But then you become ready.
Yeah, and like as I say, I'm 26. I was probably one of the younger ones on the call, like, and like I know people, you know, they're in their 40s, 50s, 60s that still aren't ready. Like, so I suppose I'm fortunate too that way. But yeah, I do remember the first call. It was going back to D. It was one of his stories he put up, and then he completed 3 months with you.
Yeah,
and I said, you know what, I need to book a call. And I think I might have cancelled the first one. I think just a pure fear. And even the second one, like I was sitting down the table, like, and like shite was running down my leg. But like looking back now, like it was the best thing I ever done. And just the approach too, that you had not a selling factor, like, and like it's funny, like we always talk about it, like even to this day. First thing people ask is, how much is that man? How much is that man? And people laugh at you, like, when you tell them, but no, a night's drinking or whatever, like that doesn't, or a holiday to Ibiza and all these sort of things, like, but like I can happily say, like
a month to 6 weeks off the drink every weekend, I'll pay for it in the drugs.
Yeah, easy.
I could pay for it twice.
Easy, yeah.
You know, so it's not even expensive.
And it's not even that, but like the things that come along with it, like when I came on, like I was, I'm not going to say I was financially broke, like, but everything was going downhill, like, badly. I was just home from Australia, like, The numbers were disappearing, and like even now, like I've quadrupled my wage. I'm self-employed now down in Dublin, working on my big firm, like, and yeah, my life's changed, like.
Do you mean the call? We're not saying what the call's about. Do you mean the call? I was actually up here and he says, look, lad, can you take a call? And I drove down there to sit beside that house that I have down there with the internet, and I goes, what's up? And you come on, you're actually crying. And it was to do with the dog, but we'll not go into anything. And I just turned around and I says to you, Aiden, listen to me now, son. See, if you don't stop crying, I ain't going to give you something to cry about. And then you get a wee smile, and we talked about it. And you never, that was the only blip.
No.
And you never looked back since.
Yeah, no, I think, yeah, you told me to write it down on a piece of paper and throw it out the window.
I know.
Not that we're promoting lettering or anything, like, but yeah, that's what I'm saying. Something so
small that you thought was so big.
Yeah. So
and that's
simple,
true, like it is big.
Yeah.
Because you're telling yourself inside your head. Yeah. It's massive.
Yeah, I was just dwelling, like, I was dwelling on it, like I was dwelling with my father, like, for 8 years. Yeah. And something so simple, like, waking up early, going training, like, you'll never regret a workout, like, that's a fact. Like, these just small things that are so simple. And
so you spoke there about you went into so a lot of people there want things like this. People want financial benefits. People want emotional benefits. People want physical benefits, mental benefits. So many things. You benefited in every way. As you said to me there, like financially, things were going downhill.
Yeah.
Right. I mind you telling the, obviously you had an issue with alcohol, right? You had an issue with drugs, right? You don't have any more.
No.
So financially, all those things were getting, them two things were really playing on financial pressure. And you show like people out there want to say, I want to make more money, but I want to take more drugs, I want to take more drink. Yeah. So if you're good, anybody can make more money.
Yeah.
But if you want to have more money and keep it, you have to stop the fuckery.
Yeah.
So like you were going downhill there. Like, so we're going to hit a few nuggets that you got. We call them gold nuggets that you hit on your journey. So work-wise, how did things change?
Yeah, so the job I was in, I was obviously working for a great company too, but I suppose kind of making that jaunt down to Dublin, going self-employed.
We had that discussion, should you do it? Like, you were not going to do it, like.
No, I wasn't for doing it, no.
You know?
I was just comfortable where I was. I suppose I was 2 or 3 months in and I thought, no, this is easy now.
But the wee thing about you too is, and you'll agree, you're going to be grateful, is you're overly mothered.
Yeah.
And you're underly fathered.
Yeah.
Not out of choice.
Yeah. Oh no, definitely, like.
So like you wanted to stay home with mummy.
Yeah.
And she's a great woman. Like I have to, like, your mother's an absolute legend. She's been your dad. She's been your mum. She's been your best friend.
Yeah.
She's been your brother. She's been your sister. She's been fucking everything.
Even as you say, like. Yes, like having a big sister sometimes, like, don't get me wrong, there might be an odd fallout every now and then, but that's probably me not taking the bins out or doing something, and like I'll never want to change that for the world, like, and like she'll even do most of my cooking, like, pick up the dirty boxers like I leave behind the shower, but
wheelie bin,
that's what mummies do, like.
That's why the wheelie bin not a good. So you didn't want to take it out, but as I say, we didn't want to take this plunge towards, like, what you were doubling your early rate. Like, it was crazy what was put in front of you. I quadrupled it. And you went down there, you got the job, and things fell through a wee bit. But because of your mindset, you flicked it over in 24 hours. So, like, tell that story.
Yeah, after, what was I there, 2 weeks?
Yeah.
And got let go after 2 weeks, and
I was fucking gutted. Like, you sent me a message. Goes, for fuck's sake! I tell this lad to go for this.
Yeah.
And I just said to you, just keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah, everything was, like, as I said, like, and that was just one of them tests, as you say, like. Yeah.
But how did it flip itself back over that everybody was it laid off or something after?
Yeah. There's a few of us that go, and within the space of 45 minutes, I think I had it sorted. Like.
Yeah.
And that was it. More or less same job, same kind of money.
Because the reason it happened is because you didn't throw the head up. You didn't let the ego in.
No.
You didn't say, fuck this. I give up my job there to come here, and now this has happened. You just kept working, kept doing what you're meant to do, and bang.
Yeah, like, I suppose that's just a big thing. Like, you always hear, like, everything happens for a reason. Like, and I suppose I can just deal with things now. Like, nothing really phases me anymore.
So financially, you got yourself in a better position,
Yeah.
right? Now we're going to go physically. Where's the physical approach? Where's it at now, and what you're doing? You can share with people where you're at now with your physical daily routine.
Yeah, I suppose I was always training, like even when I was drinking, like training was always there, but it was sort of in the background. I never enjoy. It was always a chore.
Yeah.
I was always, fuck, I have to go fucking training here now at 7 o'clock. But since I jumped on with you, like I realised I was using training as a tool, and now I fell in love with training. Like I'll not go a day without training, whether it's even if I'm taking a day off. It might be a busy day, some people, because I'll be walking or I'll be climbing a mountain or I'll be doing something. Yeah, so CrossFit now, it's kind of playing a big role there now at the minute. Doing a few high roxes.
You've completed your first. When was that, last week?
Played my first there last week. Have 3 now in March. I've one in Derry, one in Strabane, and then I'm actually going to Malaga to do one. So,
but the difference in your training, like whenever you started to train me, you were like a schoolboy. It was all just starting off, and then all of a sudden, within 3 months, the arms were coming in, the chest was growing. Like you got a serious growth.
Yeah, and then I suppose with that came all the confidence in, like, like the things I've been doing, like I was never confident before my own body, like, and now like we've been doing the CrossFit sessions, like top and everything has to come off, like,
yeah,
just the rule, like.
yeah. So I want to see, we're going there nearly. I think we're going about 40 minutes or so there. I'm trying to get all these podcasts done within 45 to 60 minutes. So look, we're gonna finish off with how you are mentally right now, and I want you to be honest. You know, you done the 6 months with me, and I wasn't like ringing. I wasn't ringing you every day saying, "Here,
Yeah.
your 6 months is up here, 3 months up here. You need to pay." That was never the case. I think a few people get a wee bit scared when it comes to an end of, I want to go out and try this on my own, and I let go of people, and I say, out you go there, but don't change the way you are. Don't change yourself. And where are you at mentally now?
Yeah, I suppose I'm just in that flow stage at the minute. Everything's just flowing. I'm waking up, I'm training, I'm meeting, I'm doing all these things that might seem so simple, but they weren't simple in the past.
Yeah.
And I suppose that's getting me to where I am, like, and like here I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Is there days I could be driving down the road, I've spent a lot of time in the van, like, is there days I could break down in the van and have a bit of weep to myself? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Is there times at night? No, I cry myself to sleep? Absolutely. But I suppose I know how to deal with them. I'll never get suicidal thoughts anymore. They're gone. They're 8 months ago. Like, they're never gonna come back. Like, so I suppose these voices get in my head too. I'll know which ones to open the door to and which ones to kick back out. And I suppose that's a big thing too for a lot of people. I get these messages and people say, "No, how'd you do it? How'd you do it? No, is there a magic pill you swallow?" Or
It's not how, it's who.
yeah,
It's who you become. People ask me the same thing. Oh, how did you? I says it's who you become. So you become those habits.
yeah, exactly.
And like if people say to you, "Oh, show me your friends, show your future." Friends are only one of your habits. Show me your habits.
Yeah.
Do you drink? Or do you abuse alcohol? Do you abuse drugs? I only say if you take drugs, you're taking drugs. You're not abusing them. You're just taking them.
Yeah.
You know, do you wake up early? Do you show me your habits, and I'll show you your future.
Yeah.
And if you have those habits, like whenever you're feeling sad, you know, maybe at that present moment you don't know, but the next morning you wake up, it's a new day, one day at a time, and you've got those habits.
Yeah.
To make you feel better.
Yeah, like a thing one of my cousins too said to me, he's actually a coach for the Derry City team, like he said, as soon as you wake up, like the devil's at the bottom of your bed every morning.
Easy.
It's up to you to get up and drop kick him, like, and keep going, or pull
and
the covers
the
out,
devil's there in so many different things, like
yeah, as you say, if he appeared as a devil, you wouldn't be friends with him, like, so.
No.
And like I'll go back to sugarcoating, like these tests still come.
Yeah.
And they will always come.
Well, we say that the test days are the best days.
Yeah,
if you don't get the test, you're not going to grow.
Yeah, exactly.
I constantly growing every single day, and like I have the same tests to come back again and test me again.
Yeah, like look at Jesus. There's mornings I wake up and say, no, couldn't be bothered. Like absolutely.
Yeah.
Weekly basis, like No, was there days I couldn't be bothered to train?
That's the devil.
No, I don't want to train, or absolutely, but I suppose that's where the discipline factor then comes in.
That's where the ego comes in and says, right, sir, lay on there and don't do anything, you're going to feel better.
Yeah.
But that's what that is. And once you become conscious, as you say, get into flow state. Like, you know, we talk about we've talked about the flow chart, and you get into flow state, there's love and peace there. But you actually can go into desire, and desire is good. You desire things, right? Yeah. You could desire more money, you could desire alcohol, you could desire a new car. But when you come down into desire, you need to get back up in the flow state very, very quickly, because you're going to fall right down into the gutter, you know?
Yeah. And I suppose, that is the thing. Like, I was motivated there for the first few weeks of the programme. No, I thought, no. But now I'm different. I'm disciplined now. Yeah. That's the difference. Motivation's easy. Yeah. It's being disciplined. That's
your motivation is you're doing something you don't want to do. You're motivated. Yeah. You're disciplined. You're inspiring. Somebody's inspiring you. You're inspiring others to do. So, Aiden, what is the? We'll finish off here. And what is your what's your future goal?
Yeah, well, I'd love to do what you're doing.
Like we talked about this, I say this to everybody who comes on the call. You can end up doing what I'm doing. Now, a lot of people try to jump into it too quick. Yeah. Right. I'm 43. I've got over 20 years of complete mayhem in my life. Right. That I can use and help other people. You like yourself, like, your father committed suicide. Right. How you get over that? You break that down, sell it to people. You'd issue alcohol. Right. You break that down. And you show people. You break it down. You issue drugs. You break that down. And you show other people. People will pay you for that. Yeah. You know, people ask me, are you free? I says, I'm not free, but I'm always available. Yeah. You know, and that's the way you're going to be. And I can see, so you're doing a level 2 and 3.
Yeah, I'm doing a level 3 there in personal training at the minute.
An online
yeah, well, it's practical and online, so it will be. So
like, I didn't put a gun to your head and say, you go and do that. You just went and done that out of your own bat.
Yeah, I want. Yeah.
Harry's doing it as well. Yeah. Because they love what we do.
Yeah, and like don't get me wrong, it's I kind of bit off more like a chew there. Like it's hard. Like
it's tough. It's tough.
Yeah,
it's a tough course.
Definitely tough now. But I say, like, that's what I want to do. Like, my phone, as I say, it never stops. Like, so I can't imagine.
So that's basically that download from above. Aiden, go do this and help other people.
Yeah. But, yeah, don't get me wrong either. Like, I do love my work. I do love that.
You still can do this here and work as well. Yeah. I do like 3 or 4 different things.
Yeah, I do love having that. You know, like, I'm a working class man. Like, and I'm better than absolutely nobody. Like, and that's what I'm happy of.
So, have we any viewer questions? No, all's good. So, Aiden, it's been a pleasure having you on. It's been a pleasure, having you in the group. It's a pleasure watching you, change your life and change other lives and see your mother happy and see friends happy. And it's just been a great journey, and long may it continue. And you know that I'm always here. I'm always here. Drop me a message, call down for a gym session. We grab a breakfast. That's what I'm here for. It's not all about money with me, and you know that there, and you can vouch for that. So, I am gonna just get you to speak to the camera, and just anybody out there that is struggling, what is your advice for them?
Yeah, I suppose, like, you've obviously heard from this podcast everything I've been through, but I'm gonna have to cut that. I don't know what to say.
Okay, just go again. All you have to do is just say, all you're going to say is, what is your advice to anybody out there that's struggling, that needs mentoring or enter a group? Just from your heart, what you would say, how you started, and where you would, what the first move is, and like at the end of the day, the procrastination, the success is at the other side of that procrastination, So anybody else procrastinating out there about coming on board with a mentor, be it Ryan or be it someone else, what's your advice?
Yeah, so my advice to anybody out there who is struggling like I was, or going through anything similar, like, because definitely mentors helped me massively, especially Ryan Quinn. Again, like, I'm not saying it has to be Ryan, but definitely a mentor is absolutely massive, like, and as you can see, like there's no guns pointed to my head here. There's, I don't know how I can thank Ryan enough, and I'll ever be in debt to him.
So basically, your success was on the other side of your procrastination. So if you'd have kept procrastinating and not took on someone, if you wouldn't have kept watching D, if you would have kept blocking me, you were still going to stay where you're at.
Yeah.
Your success, the success that you have now in such a short period of time, and it's only going to get bigger.
Yeah, and it's not even now. Like I know, like it was after 12 weeks, I would say. Like everything changed. Like, so it just goes to show how soon your life can change. But then it shows you, like, also in my case, how quickly it can be taken away from you.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a big one for me.
So, guys, I hope you enjoyed that podcast. I really did. A few things hit home on me there. And to say, these podcasts aren't just about Aiden. This is a conversation between me and Aiden. I'm going to share my experiences. You get a lot of people there that are in podcasts, that take podcasts that have never been, as I always say, as low as the dust on a snake's balls. That's how low I was. So I will share my experiences whenever you'll see, when the guests on here will bring up things that are gonna bring things from my past up. So I'm always going to come in and talk about it. But that's been a great journey with you, lad, and I wish you all the best.
Thanks very much.
So guys, catch us on the next episode, and keep her LS.